I love this place.
We're standing here on Liberty Mountain. Behind me is Lynchburg, Virginia.
Man, I love this place.
From right on top of Liberty Mountain, that beautiful sprawling valley, the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains.
This is the place where moments transform into memories.
You got a great opportunity today, right? Yes, sir. You got a great opportunity. The flames always rise, all right? Here we go. Quick second.
Where vision becomes reality.
Because we're training champions. That's a part of the vision. Write the vision, make it plain. We're training champions to change the world.
Hey, there is no let up now. Don't forget there is no let up now.
It's a place where empty seats become a sea of red. Where 2 letters are a chorus, 25,000 strong. It's where hands raise high, united by a common belief.
Hey, let's go. Flames quarter. Flames quarter.
This place has 4 quarters of fury waiting to be unleashed.
Crossing pattern, it's caught. C.J. Daniels at the 10, spins at the 5, launches end zone. Touchdown, Liberty.
You don't focus on the scoreboard. Focus on the love of your brother.
And it's going to be picked off by the Flames. Kobe Singleton, far sideline. He will score.
It don't matter.
And I'm going to do everything for him. I'm going to be locked in no matter what happens. Good, bad, and indifferent. We're going to keep striking through 60 minutes.
Salter into the end zone. Light him up. Touchdown, Liberty. Ball was tipped and intercepted. It's Jerome Green. Light him up.
But the best part of this place is it isn't just for one day of the week. Whenever there's a football game on this campus, Flames Nation will rise behind its team, even in the middle of the week.
Welcome to Flames Central Gameday, presented by Earthright Mid-Atlantic, solar and energy efficiency. Well, it is midweek on the mountain.
It is midweek mayhem on the mountain, Rhett McGibbon. I don't care if you got to go to school tomorrow, if you're a little kid, if you got to go to work, it don't matter, baby. Eat an extra piece of cheesecake, pack it in, and let's get it done.
I'm sure everybody knows Yacht Talk Joe Yacht, Pat Kelly. Thrilled to have Reginald Walker Jr. with us for the first time, former member of the Penn State Nittany Lions. So much to get to on the show today. Public enemy #1 coming into town, Chris Vanini.
Oh, boy.
I was thinking if we can get him on campus, get the dunk tank going for like $5 a pop, that guy can make a killing.
That's a good fundraiser right there.
I know.
You'd raise a couple mil.
You want to build another deck on this stadium? That's how you get that done.
Let's go. Jamie Chadwell talks to us in a little bit. Also, we take an in-depth look at Caden Salter. So much to get to, but Conference USA play, we're getting into the thick of it now. For you guys, when you look at this conference and how you would have thought things would shape up and the level of play, what have your expectations been, and are you happy with it, what you've seen so far?
You think about this league as a whole, and one of the things that you sort of come to expect in this league, guys, is points and offense. But one of the teams that I paid attention to going into this thing, what was Louisiana Tech and Sonny Cumbie going to look like? Had a chance to see his team late last season. He felt like they had a chance to be really good this year. They had some issues trying to figure out who they wanted to play at quarterback. He thought they'd be much better. So far, started off well in conference play.
Yeah, I'm just excited with how conference play has started so far. Games last night, games tonight. Western Kentucky's playing. Jacksonville State, I know that's a squad that Joe likes a little bit. I mean, it was a super fun game last night, had that comeback. I'm just glad that conference play is here.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch to see who rises up and sort of who falls down. Obviously, you look at Liberty, and then, right there it is. The preseason call by Yacht Talk was Jacksonville State, baby, and they're sitting at #2. They were sitting at 7. Now they're up to 2. I always tell the folks, where did you hear it first? At Yacht Talk, baby.
Do you get your wife to call you Yacht Talk?
No. She just rolls her eyes. Trust me. She just rolls her eyes.
Honey, Yacht Talk's ready for dinner.
She says stop calling.
I'm with you there. We take a look at the conference standings. Liberty sitting at 2-0, and really a lot of this is going to shake out over the coming weeks. not to look ahead for Flames fans, but we all know Tuesday, Jacksonville State and Liberty going head-to-head. That's going to be a quality contest. Talking about quality individuals, the level of play that has been high so far, we look at our Conference USA Players of the Week. And Jacksonville State's quarterback, Logan Smothers, he had a great week against Sam Houston, the team you're going to see here tonight against the Flames.
Yeah, a really strong week. Good game last week. They came back and they were able to win that football game, played well down the stretch to get the win. A little bit of a hiccup, a hitch in his giddy-up, if you will. Got benched last night, but they were able to get the win. So he's going to have something to prove his next time out there for sure.
Reggie talked a little bit about Louisiana Tech. I jump over to Smoke Harris. We go from Smothers to Smoke. Awesome name. This is a guy that does it all. Receiver, kick returner, punt returner, electric guy. I love watching this guy.
Yeah, and then Bryson Washington, obviously, 7 tackles, 1 intercept, fumble recovery, 2 pass breakups. You name it, he's all over the field all the time. Did a great job. Players of the week.
I need to mention this before Flames Nation gets after me, that Caden Salter was back-to-back offensive players of the week.
That's a good mention.
This week.
Yeah, don't forget that.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
Forget.
All right, let's dive into our scouting report brought to us by Century Exteriors. And when you look at this Sam Houston team, the Bearcats, a lot of people look to weeks 1 and 2 and their defensive play, saying, hey, this might be the toughest defensive unit Liberty faces this season.
Yeah, Red, I definitely would have agreed with you. Best defensive unit if I stopped watching the film at that Air Force and BYU game. In that game, late into the fourth quarter, couple plays that they gave up, they ended up losing those games. Looked really crisp. This is definitely a group that is a tough defense, but not the best.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the best. It's the most athletic, I'll tell you that right now. But as the old Lionel Richie song says, stuck on you. They have a tendency to get stuck on their blocks, especially in the inside run game, and that's a part where I think Liberty's really going to focus.
Yeah, and they play with 5 defensive backs, and so they're going to have to do a really good job, those defensive backs, against this running game, because once the inside run starts happening, they start to get to the edges. You better be a willing and enabling tackler as a defensive back in this game if you're Sam Houston, or you're going to get run out of Williams Stadium. That's a guarantee.
Here's the question I have, though. What happened between weeks 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4? Because you look at the numbers, right? BYU, you only allowed 257 yards. Against Air Force, 244. Then you go Houston, you see Jacksonville State, 538 by Houston, and then 435 by Jacksonville State.
Yeah, I mean, this is the nature of college football, or football in general. The more film you get on somebody, the more you can realize where are their weaknesses at defensively and where can you expose them. So I think that has a big part to do with it, is that Liberty's able to break that down now this week and say, okay, where are these guys? Where can we beat them up? Can we beat them up on the inside run? Can we beat them up with explosive plays? And teams start to expose those weaknesses. There's a lot of good football coaches out there, and they know how to scheme and what to do.
Do you think it's the inside run?
Taking Joe's comments a step further, I think now that there has been some exposure of weaknesses, I think Liberty has opportunities today on the perimeter. They can get some smoke screens thrown out there. I think that the DBs can get dominated physically. I definitely think those are opportunities. Talking about running inside, it's going to open up some one-on-one opportunities on the outside.
And let's not get it twisted. Think about the 2 teams that you just talked about. You're talking about Rich Rodriguez as a play caller and Dana Holgerson as a play caller.
Right.
Jamie Chadwell here at Liberty is in that same category in terms of a play caller and designing offenses. This could be a very difficult night for this Sam Houston defense. They've got to be gap sound in the running game.
Yeah, and it all starts with the inside run. That's where Liberty is their bread and butter. If they can get the inside run going, which I think they will, because when you talk to the coaching staff, they feel as if those linebackers start playing the run too quickly. They don't show the patience, so a lot of the cutback will go. And once you get that going, then, as Pat alluded to, you start the outside game, bring the DBs up, now you hit them over the top, and it's like touchdowns.
I like the whistling. Let's continue on this topic. Liberty's ground attack has been getting some national attention. They're up there in the rankings, led by Quentin Cooley.
Yeah, Quentin Cooley's the guy. I think that he's going to have to carry the mail tonight. He is a big back, explosive in between the tackles. We just got to get him in the end zone. But I think he's going to get the bulk of the carries for Liberty tonight with a few of the injuries that they have.
Yeah, taking that a step further, I think Cooley has a chance to go for 100. I think Salter, once that outside game opens up, also has a chance to go for 100. Going to open up some of those perimeter option plays, being able to keep it, being able to possibly pitch. I think they have a lot of opportunity.
And if you're Sam Houston, you better get and win first downs, because if you let this offense get going and start getting some of those explosive plays, you got a whole lot of problems coming to you. They are up there in the nation, top 30 in the nation of explosive plays, 28 plays of more than 20 yards. This offense has a chance to put up crazy numbers.
Yeah, you see the numbers on your screen right now and how Liberty in the top 10 in the majority of those, and that's with a lot of teams above them having played one extra game. So as it came into this week of football, Liberty is actually second in the nation in yards on the ground per game. So we'll see that number rise after tonight. Got some questions about the run game. Okay, Von Blue obviously goes down with injury. How big of a loss is that? And is Bedgood going to be able to fill that gap for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big loss, but the one position they do have some depth at is the running back position. I think also that was down the field and see Billy Lucas warm up. Looks like things aren't looking good for him injury-wise. So that could thin that group out. So there's some Bedgood, some other folks that they're going to have to count on. And once again, that goes back to this. I think that's why you're going to see Quentin Cooley get the bulk of the carries, and a lot of those carries are going to be in between the tackles.
Yeah, I think it's important to have that depth that we've talked about. Von Blue out, with Lucas possibly not playing. The Flames do have 4 running backs, though, averaging 6 yards a carry. So I don't want to say just throw the next guy in there, but they do have guys that are capable of taking the load.
And remember, in this offense, the quarterback is involved in that running game as well. Remember, in college football, sacks count against the rushing yards. Caden Salter averages 5.7 yards a carry. So he's basically a 6+ yard a carry guy as well. When you have that many guys that can do that in the running game, it is absolutely scary for a defense.
Are we going to see a lot of Pointer Jr. tonight then with the injuries in the running back room?
Yeah, I mean, you'll get some of these guys that haven't got what does every player want? I just need a shot, coach. I just need a shot, coach. Well, you're going to see some guys tonight that are going to get a shot.
All right, moving now. Liberty, offensive mojo, they found it on the road. 2 home games, obviously Flames looking good. You go up to Buffalo, you get some Tim Hortons coffee, things are doing well.
Take off, eh? Hey, take off, you Canadian, eh? Get a little Tim Hortons, eh?
That's good.
What's that about?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And then you take on FIU, and it just felt like, I don't know if it's being on the road or what exactly it was, but they loosened up, and man, you're like, wow, this is a really impressive offensive attack.
Well, I think part of that is when you go on the road, and guys, you know this, you've played in enough road games in your careers, sometimes you band together a little bit more, and those are some longer road trips. Going down to FIU is not a short trip. You band together, you get together as a group, and you lock in, and you can focus and play good football.
Hey, I always loved it because it's us against the world, and nothing was louder to me than the silence of a stadium, just completely shutting them down. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I think with these, but the thing is too, is also the road games, obviously they've done very well, but man, does it feel good to be back inside of Williams Stadium right now. It is electric around here. It's great.
What favorite place you went to on the road, Pat, that you shut him down? Stony Brook? Did you guys win that game on the road?
We should not talk about Stony Brook.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We certainly should not do that.
I'm sorry. For you guys, though, what was one place you look back? All right, let's go to you. ACC football.
Yeah,
I mean, NC State, did you just love shutting those guys down?
NC State was great because of the rivalry of it, like so much passion in it. But I would say, going to Clemson was a ton of fun. And then probably the most exciting was South Carolina. South Carolina night game in the early 90s was something else.
What about you, Reg?
Reg has seen some stadiums.
Oh, yeah. And Pat and I were talking about this before the game or before the show. And one of the things that was interesting, the 2 loudest places, and yes, I'm talking about Big Ten here, Wisconsin and Iowa actually were the 2 loudest.
Kinnick Stadium.
Kinnick Stadium is super loud.
And
to make those people get quiet is a great feeling, because the best part about it is the way they force you to play. Kirk Ferentz has been doing it a long time. It's ugly football when you play Iowa. But if you can beat Iowa and make the folks at Kinnick be quiet, it's a great feeling, I'm telling you.
It's a long ride back to the farm.
Yeah, I just got in my ear that all our viewers in the Midwest just turned off. But all right, time for our Field Pass presented by Carl Miller Realty. And we're looking at John Gentry, running back for this team of the Bearcats, and a dip and dunk guy. He can run it, but he's also going to get a lot of HB screen kind of action.
Yeah, but he's a big body, and I mean he's long. He gets once he gets going, when he gets in the open field, he gets going. He's very effective. The other thing that he does really well is he catches the ball out of the backfield. And I think right now in this day and age of football, when you have a running back that can not just run the ball, but you can use him in the passing game, you're confident in his hands and be able to get downfield with those hands, I'll tell you what, that makes a big difference, and he can do that.
Gentry's kind of been the beneficiary of not being able to run the ball super well. Teams will pin their ears back and bring the rush, which does set up that screen game. He's had a couple pretty significant catches this year on the screen.
Yeah, I think they've got to do a better job getting him in space even in the running game. They've got to open up some holes to get him going. Think about it. This is a guy that has the ability to make big plays, but his longest run of the year is just 12 yards. They're not getting him opportunities to get out in space and create explosives.
All right, so you don't think he's explosive, but I can tell you have a little glimmer in your eye when you talk about him. What do you like about him?
Yeah, I like that once he gets going, he hasn't really had the opportunity. He's gotten going in the passing game, right?
Yeah.
So that he's caught balls down the middle, good catches. He takes off and he's going. If you can get him going, he's hard to bring down. But like Reg is saying, you got to create that space for him. If you can get him into that second level, he's going to be a really tough guy to bring down.
All right. We heard Coach Keeler say in his interview before the game, the offensive line is starting to figure some things out.
Yeah.
So we probably will see today some carries longer than 8, 9, 9, and 12 yards, which are their 4 longest carries on the season.
All right, good stuff. All right, joining us now down live at field level, Quentin Reese. Quentin, thanks for joining us.
How you doing?
Hey, talk to us about this. This is a secondary that obviously is getting national attention with leading the nation in interceptions. But when did you realize you had a special group in this defensive unit?
It was a little bit around, I guess, in the spring. You realize you had a really good group who wanted to come to work every day, and that's honestly contagious. You know, anywhere that's contagious, no matter what level you're at. So having that mentality every day had us. We go out there the whole season, I'll continue to stack those days and stack those interceptions on top of each other.
Quentin, I know you guys obviously big on film study, trying to find out tendencies, matchups that you like. Is there any matchup that you like coming out tonight? You see a particular formation, a certain guy that you're matched up on, that you're licking your chops saying, oh, hey, it's on?
To be honest, I like any matchup versus anybody with any of our 11 guys, no cap. So it don't matter who we line up against, we're going to bring it any time of the night. Let's go, man.
When you talk about dealing with this offense and the different things they do, what do you think the main key is tonight for your group in that back end in terms of just making sure to be on the same page with that communication?
Honestly, just getting lined up, and you know we got a loud stadium here, and we're gonna use these fans. So getting lined up and being ready to play all night and just shutting down that run is gonna really set us up for the whole night.
Okay, hey Quentin, one thing. If you had to make your choice, what you want to do? You want to come off the hash and high point the ball for an interception, or would you rather come downhill and put the smack down and do the foot stomp on somebody?
I go right. Interceptions win games, so you know I gotta say that pick, man. That pick changes the game. You know
pick
it.
6, baby. Pick 6.
Yes, sir.
Spoken like a true DB.
All right,
yes,
great
sir.
stuff. Quentin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, that was Quentin Reese on our field pass presented by Carl Miller Realty. Great to hear from him. Leader in the secondary. And truthfully, I think you look at this Flames defensive unit, and we'll get to this more in a few moments, but this is a group that has surprised a lot of people.
What I think, and you could tell in Quentin right there, his energy and the way he communicates, that's infectious. And you guys both know, when you're playing on the defensive side of the football, especially in a loud stadium, with the different variety in these offenses that we see in college football now, if you don't communicate back there, if you're not on the same page, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. He clearly is one of those guys that makes sure to keep that going.
LSU is a prime example from last week of not communicating, and what happens. You give up almost 1,000 yards. I think they gave up like 750.
That's your team, Pat.
It is. It was tough to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think it's the marriage of two things for Liberty. Like when you look at Jamie Chadwell and what when he was at Coastal, they're an offensive football team. They had a lot of points scored on them. I think the biggest question to Jamie Chadwell was, could he bring a top-notch defense to Liberty? And when he brought in Skylar McGee with him, but also Kyle Krantz. Kyle Krantz was a disciple of Will Muschamp at Florida.
Yep.
And they have brought South Carolina and Florida. They have brought that defense here. And I think it is an excellent scheme with what they're doing. And when you take that defense in a great scheme and you match it with really good players, you have success, and you've seen that from Liberty so far this year.
All right, great stuff. Well, hey, quality defense, quality running game. Matt Warner joining us now, talking about the air raid that's been going on, though, with the Flames as well.
Hey guys, you talked a lot about this Liberty rush attack, and for good reason with how good they've been this season, but let's not let this receiving core go under the radar. We dug into the numbers, took a look year over year. Take a look at these stats. Last year, obviously, it was a Hugh Freeze offense, but they also had an NFL wide receiver in Demario Douglas playing for them. They averaged just over 7 yards per attempt, just over 12 yards per completion. Fast forward to this year, over 9.5 yards per pass attempt, and they're averaging over 17 yards per completion. That's the 5th best mark in the nation. Now, the threat of the run has certainly allowed these receivers the opportunity to make big plays down the field. Already 5 touchdown receptions of 40 yards or more. Remember, this was a position group that had a lot of uncertainty coming into the season. We were all asking who's going to step up. A lot of names being thrown around. One name I don't remember hearing was Trayon Sibley, and he has been huge for this team. He leads the Flames in receiving with 288 yards in 4 games. He didn't have that many yards in his last 2 seasons combined. In some ways, you might say he's been the biggest surprise on this Liberty offense this season, and it's been at a position of need thus far. Now, Rhett, I know you have 2 wide receivers up there on the desk with you, and can you imagine what Joe Yock would have done in this offense? Not only a devastating downfield blocker in the run game, but he hit him with that over the top. Unbelievable. The numbers he would have put up would have been absurd.
Would have been great. That's 100% true. I did a little digging, Joe. You and Matt, the chemistry you guys have in the booth, the whistle even is, you guys are like mockingbirds of one another. But looking at your numbers, Joe, all right?
Yeah.
4 touchdowns in your career, is that right?
Yeah, UNC.
532 yards, 36 receptions. I think you would have fit in well here.
Yeah.
Big body receiver.
Yeah, but you got to remember, I was spent most of my time blocking for Natron Means back in the day, right? But if you were to take the Yock and Kelly combo together, I mean, they would call us white lightning out there, and we would have terrorized them in this offense.
You put us on the same side of a formation. I mean, what you're getting out of that?
You kidding me?
Well, you know what you're getting out of that? You get me playing corner, going, "Hey, I need some help over the top. Where's the safety? I got to work with these 2 guys. Give me a safety over here."
You would have locked us down. He would have had the towels hanging off and walking around with swag, and he would have put us on lockdown.
The good news, though, is you would never have to worry about me trying to block you. You wouldn't try. Would not go near it. Coach, give me. Yeah. Oh, it's a run play.
Yeah.
I'm out.
There has been a lot of talk about the defense you mentioned coming in and the question marks about it, but I think also the wide receiver group had a lot of question marks. Demario Douglas is gone. It's been a couple years since we've seen AGG. Who was going to be the guy? And it's really been by committee. You've seen CJ Daniels step up. We just talked about Sibley being a big part as well. Has there been any one that you think's like, hey, is this the top guy, or is it more anybody can burn you on any given night?
Great question, Rhett McGibbon, because 20 minutes ago, I was down on the field talking to Tony Washington, the wide receivers coach for Liberty, and I asked him, I said, if you had to give one guy, who's your guy, right? And he had a really tough time answering that question. Yeah. And so I don't want any other receivers to hear this, so I won't say who his one guy was. But you know what? The bottom line is what he said, though, also was he is so impressive what Trayon Sibley's done.
That's
like, Trayon Sibley is a guy that really wasn't expected to do much, and he's come out and he's played really, really well. And then obviously C.J. Daniels. I mean, and we're not even talking about Noah Frith. That's a big body receiver, so they have some depth. He's done a great job getting those guys to getting them prepared to play really good football.
What I like about this group is they've got somebody that can do a little bit of everything. You got field stretchers, you got size, you got underneath guys, and so that allows you to use parts so well and so interchangeably with the route combinations. You add that to Jamie Caldwell in this offense, it creates a lot of problems. Pat, you would light it up in this offense as well. Well, you always lit it up, but still.
I don't know about all that, but this is a music group, right? This group likes music, and I'm a big rap guy.
Oh, so
are you
really? Okay. Where are we going with this one, Pat? I'd like to hear that.
Women lie, men lie, but numbers don't lie.
Okay.
So when we check out the numbers here, you've got 2 receivers averaging 24 yards a catch. In terms of the split between catches and yards, it's so much more balanced this year than last year. So, I mean, this is a great group.
Yeah, terrific group. It's a lot of fun to watch. A lot of fun to watch how they've all come together. Good to see C.J. Daniels really break out this season. Again, I go back to the fact that his freshman year, along with Demario Douglas, their numbers weren't separated by much. And then the injury bug hit Daniels, and the numbers came down, obviously. But good to see him back this season. Hopefully he can build off that. I believe coming in, it was a guy that had NFL prospects, kind of a late rounder again. We'll see if he's able to continue on with that. All right, we've talked about the Liberty offense. We've talked about Sam Houston's defense. It's going to be a group that is going to be tested tonight. And Matt's standing by now with Coach Keeler.
Well, Well, Coach, I know your guys' run defense was really good early in the season. You held the Air Force, #1 rushing team in the country, to their season low. You face another good rush attack tonight against Liberty. What's the key to slowing them down in the same way?
Well, that quarterback's special, but the problem is they're not one-dimensional. You know, you wish you could focus on just stopping that option, but he throws the ball really well. They're great receivers. They're playing with a lot of confidence right now. And I told our guys, don't worry about winning, just worry about playing each snap individually. I think sometimes when you're not having success in terms of wins and losses, you worry about that. We have a good football team. We're excited about the competition.
Seems like you guys found something offensively last week. What can you build on? Where can you find success against the Flames tonight?
Yeah, you know, I think our offensive line started to come together. You know, there was a lot of moving parts early on with some new players. Keegan has settled in. And I think actually, you know, not playing him the week before Houston, I think was actually a good thing. Sometimes you just need to see it from the sideline. I thought he played really well. And, you know, we're starting to come along offensively. You know, new offensive coordinator, again, a whole new scheme. It's going to take a little time, but I like where we are right now.
Thanks for the time, Coach. Good luck.
Right, thank you.
They've started to see results in the last couple games offensively, and that goes into our next segment, Freedom First Inside the Numbers. The offensive woes that this program has experienced through the year. This is a team that won the national championship in the FCS in 2021 and were able to put up points. What has gone awry for them early in the season? Because you look at it, they're only averaging 9.5 points per game.
Yeah, it's tough, but we're at the point of the season where you're starting to figure out your identity a little bit. Things are starting to click. You're starting to find out your own tendencies, where you can be better, where you should really hammer down. So I think this is a group that, like you mentioned, the offensive line is starting to figure things out, which is good because they average 2 yards per carry, not what you want. So I think they're certainly going to start to figure some things out.
And I think part of that is you got to do a better job of winning first downs. You talked about that 2 yards a carry. You need that to be 4 or 5 yards so you can get ahead of the chains and allow your quarterback to be in some better situations on 2nd and 3rd down. If you're not in manageable 3rd down situations, if you're in predictable situations and you go to that one section on the play sheet that says 3rd and long, that is not where you want to live as a play caller. They've been there entirely too much so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm be honest with you, I think watching him on film, you've seen Keegan Shoemaker improve, right? And I think that he's getting better. He's got a little bit of a strange release. He's a little bit unorthodox, but at the same time, when you see times where he gets into a little bit of a rhythm and he can sling it around pretty good. So I think as their coach is saying, they're starting to build. They're starting to get better protection. They're starting to run. It feels as if they can start to run the ball a little bit more. So I feel like he is going to play better than we think this game.
Liberty has had a surprisingly stout defense, and we touched on this topic a few minutes ago, just what they've been able to do with the interceptions. You don't have Kendi Charles for the start of the year, and they're still able to get it done, and we'll see that here on screen. Does Sam Houston, though, have enough playmakers on the offensive side of the ball, athletes, to be able to get past this LUD that's thriving?
Red, I'm glad that you brought that up because one of the things that I noticed watching film is that I don't feel like they have a guy on the outside at receiver that's going to go up and win that 50-50 ball. It doesn't feel like he has a go-to guy on 3rd and 5 where I know I can fit this ball in on a slant. We talked about Gentry. He's a great receiver out of the backfield, but you can't rely on one guy at all.
Yeah, I think I agree with Pat, but I think that Noah Smith has that potential. I mean, he has the potential to be a home run hitter guy, and you get to be able to see him get involved more. I think they're going to see them start to do a little bit more of that.
Yeah, and I think, look, at the end of the day, with this defense, what Liberty does really well, they get into the backfield, they create penetration with that defensive front. They've got a plethora of guys up there that have been making plays so far this year. You start getting into the backfield, you start pressuring people, quarterbacks make mistakes, they can't push the ball down the field, they have to check it down much quicker. This is an offense in Sam Houston that's really, really struggled. They're last in the nation in explosive plays with just 10. Now, I say that. They're 0-4, I say that. But I'm going to help everybody out here. My alma mater, Penn State, who's number 6 in the nation, they're 129th in the nation in explosive plays. So maybe it doesn't matter.
Yeah, great stat.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, great stat. And for Liberty, I think the thing is defensively, they got to do a really good job of mixing it up. When are you going to bring your pressures, right? When are you going to show a zone blitz and then back out and only bring 3 or 4? So I think that's one of the keys to Liberty's defense tonight is to be able to just continually mix up those defenses.
Yeah, we'll wait and see if they're able to do it. The mastermind behind it all, Jamie Chadwell, standing by now with Matt Warner.
Well, Coach, you get a little extra rest coming into this ball game. What did you do this week to make sure you're rested but not rusty when you take the field tonight?
Well, we did. We actually did a lot more stuff against each other to try to, iron sharpens iron, right? Proverbs 27:17. So we wanted to make sure that we were rested but also ready. You don't want to come out here and lay an egg. So we hopefully we're ready to rock and roll.
You take a look at your keys to the game. Our broadcasters always have keys to the game. What do you feel like are the keys to going 5-0 with the win tonight?
I think the main thing is we got to start fast, and then we got to learn how to play for 4 quarters. If you watch us all year, we've done well, but then we hit some lulls. And a team that we're playing here, they're good, even though their record's what it is. If you give them hope, they'll take it. So we talked a lot about take away their hope early and often.
Thanks for the time, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Good to hear from Coach Chadwell. Any worries about them being rusty? I know that you said on Twitter a little bit.
Yeah, my worry a little bit is you haven't played in 11 days. You're a little bit out of routine a little bit. So this is the first time under a Chadwell staff that we've seen, okay, a little bit of an extended bye. What do you look like? So I'm a little bit concerned, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, they're not going to be rusty.
No, we're not worried about it at all.
There ain't nothing better than that cold tub.
That's number one.
Tell me, Reg, how good is that cold tub?
It's real good. That's the place to be, right? But I don't think these people in here tonight are going to let them be rusty.
Yeah.
If there is any bit of an energy issue, it'll be rectified as soon as they run out of that tunnel with the people in here tonight. The fans in here will get those guys going. And then the other piece of it is everything, all of the goals are still in front of them. Everybody wants to protect an undefeated record.
Let me ask you this. Willie Corn, obviously he's got Salter going, right? He's happy about it. And then all of a sudden you hit the bye week and you have a little bit of a letdown and you're not in that rhythm anymore. Is he kind of like, man, I wish that had come later on?
No, Willie Corn's the complete opposite. They don't call him Slick Willie Corn for nothing. Slick Willie Corn is in the laboratory in a bye week, and he's mixing here, he's mixing there, he's mixing up everywhere. So they're going to you're going to see some wrinkles tonight that you hadn't seen before. So yeah,
right.
don't you worry about old Willie Corn.
All right,
not to mention, he's not going to let Caden Salter rest on his laurels.
That's
He's
true.
probably coached him harder in the last 10 or 11 days than he did all season long.
All right, great points.
Yeah, let me add on to that I got a text from Willie, and we were talking about Caden Salter, and he said Caden Salter came out of the last game angry with how he played. He only wants to do better. He only wants to be coached more. So he had a big smile on his face knowing that he's never, like you're saying, Rich, he's never content with where he's at.
All right, let's dive into our Oasis matchup spotlight. We're looking at the quarterbacks under center today, and he talked about Keegan Shoemaker. When you look at the numbers, you're not overly impressed, and I'll be honest, when I looked at him on film too, I had some questions.
They've got to keep him clean. Give him a clean pocket, give him opportunities to make plays, and he can do some things. But if they don't keep him clean, he's going to have a lot of problems, as you see evidenced by that completion percentage issue.
Well, Reggie, you said it earlier. The key is to win first down. When you're sitting there 2nd and 8, 3rd and 8, that makes it very tough on your quarterback. Defenses can pin their ears back, and that's when you have a chance to really knock his block off a little bit. So I think they've got to establish that run to make him comfortable. Give him some quick releases, quick throws. I think that's going to help him out a lot if they do that.
Yeah.
Caden Salter for the Flames. We spoke about him really getting into a rhythm. This is a guy that's learned how to protect the football, and you look at the numbers for him on the year, it's incredible what he's been able to do.
You remember when last year when we didn't know who was going to play quarterback at Liberty?
Totally.
Right?
We played 4 of them.
Then remember when we went into spring camp, we didn't know who was going to play. Then we went into fall camp, we still didn't know who was going to play quarterback. Then we finally signed on Caden Salter, and I'll tell you what, you couldn't draw up a better quarterback to run this type of offense that Jamie Chadwell does, and now he's got the focus, he's got the passion, he's got the athleticism, he's got the ability. This guy is going to only continue to improve and get better and put up magnificent numbers.
What I love about what Joe just said is it really speaks to the importance of it. We need to name a guy so that he's not constantly going like this. I threw an interception. Yeah. Are they going to bring someone else in? Or I fumbled the ball. Are they going to bring someone else in?
He actually stole my question there. I was going to say how much of his improvement has been from the fact that he can play free and not worry about, hey, is Hugh going to bring in somebody behind me now because I fumbled the ball or I made a bad pass?
I mean, I can't put a number on it, but I'd say a whole heck of a lot, because when I don't have to worry about, oh, shoot, that gives me so much more confidence. You know what? Go out there, play free, play fast, play physical. I think it's done a lot for him.
And the other thing is he's playing instinctive football. If you watch him, particularly in the option game, there's not a lot of thinking going on. He sees the defense and what they're doing, and he's reacting instinctively. That, to me, tells me that he's not concerned about anything else. He understands that this is my team. this is my offense, and it's my job to get them in the end zone, and he's focused on that and that only.
I think the one thing that Kaidon Salter doesn't get enough credit for is how smart he's been on his reads in the drop back game. You watch him right from the very first game. He went from first read to second read, not there, off to third read, delivered a strike. So it's not just his athleticism as he escapes from the pocket and his ability to run and create yardage that way. It's also his ability to stand in the pocket, make reads, and then make throws.
Flames had a guy under center a couple years ago, Malik Willis, they loved. Is Salter ceiling higher? Is he a better passer than Malik Willis?
I think in this offense it is. I think this offense is so conducive to what he does. I think when it's all said and done that Kaidon Salter is going to put up bigger numbers than Malik Willis did.
I'll say it this way. I think Malik Willis was more of an athlete playing quarterback, whereas you look at Kaidon Salter, he's a quarterback that's super athletic. There is a little bit of a difference there. I think it can be small, but that is a difference in what we're seeing at the quarterback position with Kaidon Salter there.
All right, still a lot more to come. I hope you're enjoying yourself. When we come back, we take a look at Xavier Gadlin and take you behind the curtain, show you what kind of guy he is. Also, Emily Austin, she's got Chris Vanini, plus we break down our Segra Impact players. Welcome back to Midweek on the Mountain. I'm sure you guys had that teammate that was just good at everything away from football, like could play the guitar, could sing really well. For the Flames, it's Xavier Gadlin. This guy just has talent. Take a look.
This is who we see on game day. But there's much more to offensive lineman Xavier Gadlin.
Welcome and bienvenue, welcome. Happy to see you. Live au reste de sagen welcome and bienvenue, welcome. In cabaret, au cabaret, to cabaret.
Xavier Gadlin, Arlington, Texas, Renaissance man. It definitely took some time to cultivate it. But I've always been an outgoing kid. I don't think I've ever been one to be shy or quiet. Yeah, I was never quiet ever in my life. My dad used to call me Will Smith because I used to just yell all the time, for no reason. Normal in-house conversation, I was just super duper loud. So that took a while to tone down a bit. But yeah, I've always been outgoing.
But playing sports, he wouldn't have to tone it down. one of the many reasons his father would sign him up for football at a young age.
I mean, he played football. Everybody around him played football. It's kind of like what you do in Texas, to be honest with you. I started to develop the love for the game around middle school. I remember just becoming more of a vocal person, growing in my work ethic, and it really started to click like in high school as well.
Yet that wouldn't mean football would always take center stage. In high school, he would be a part of the band. And in college, as a Division I football player, he would discover a passion for theater.
TU, what's going on? It's your man Xavier Gatlin here, sophomore football player, double major in history and education. Gotta make sure you hit them books, don't you?
I don't know why, but I don't think I realized I was a performer until I got to college. Everybody around me knew it.
Raise my hands, bow my head.
But like, it just didn't click for me until I got into this space and started doing it. It was like, I really like doing this.
What ho, apothecary? Who calls so loud?
And to little surprise, his personality and his characters would shine on stage.
Such mortal drugs I have, but Mantua's law is death to any he that utters them.
Nerves have kind of gone out of the window, to be honest. I think a lot of that comes in preparation. Once I know what I have to do, at that point, it's kind of like football. When the lights turn on, it doesn't become any different. It's just more people are looking at you.
Those bright lights would just be the beginning when it comes to similarities between his two passions.
It's the exact same. I don't think people understand it because it's not as physical. When you take away the physical demands of what football like asks of you, then it's the exact same. The preparation that comes into it, though it's not as physical, is definitely very demanding. It's not like there's no focus that's involved. It's not like there's no determination or accountability that's involved. Everybody else's performance also hinges on how well you do as well. So it fits exactly with football, because if I don't do well in my position, it's hard for anybody else to succeed around me, especially as an offensive guy. So when it comes to theater, other people are depending on you to bring your best, because that helps them bring their best.
Make it mean something when you say it now.
Xavier's learning that these experiences are helping him build stronger relationships and help him grow into a better leader.
I think the biggest thing that I am able to offer is perspective. I think me being involved in so much has allowed me to adapt myself into wherever I'm at.
And God, I ask you to be with us today as we walk throughout this battle. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Amen.
The other piece of leadership that people don't often talk about is just the idea that if you don't have a relationship with somebody, you can't help them.
I love y'all boys, man. Let's go rope and ride.
Because you don't know what motivates them, you don't know what they need, you don't know how they feel that day, and that's definitely something that I learned from theater.
Today, Xavier has put theater on hold as his focus is on his final football season with the Flames, with the hopes to play in the NFL one day. But having these two communities, a brotherhood in football,
if you don't believe it doesn't work,
and a family in theater, provides him comfort regardless of what the future holds.
It helps to know that even when I leave football or even when I leave theater, I always have a place where if I need something or need to be around somebody or some people, I have a place I can go.
But sometimes after a big win, he just can't help himself. Because as many of us know, Xavier Gatlin was meant for the spotlight.
Oh, very talented young man. Blessed to have him on the mountain. Hey, great to see him singing in all his abilities.
Talented. That's all I got. I mean, that's awesome.
Joe, what do you got? I know you can dance the legs off a table.
Yeah. Now, I'll tell you what, Gatlin, that might be on Liberty's roster right now. That might be the #1 NFL prospect.
Wow.
For them. He may have the best opportunity to play in the NFL. Right. He can't sing and he can sing and dance, but he plays football now.
That's good stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, it is time. You know what time it is? The man with the target on his back in Lynchburg, Virginia, Chris Vanini, is standing by with Emily Austin.
Thanks, guys. We're being a little bit irresponsible this week because the party in the CUSA is happening on a weekday, but it will all be good and fun because we're inviting back Chris Vanini. He's the senior writer at The Athletic. And Chris, Since the last time we've talked, I have to say you have ruffled Sparky's feathers. Not only did you say on Twitter that JMU was the best football team in the state of Virginia, but you left Liberty completely out of your group of 5 top teams. Please take the time to explain yourself to Flames Nation.
Yeah, they're two separate issues. One, in terms of not being in the top 10, it's just simply a matter of who they've played to this point. You know, it'll change. Jacksonville State looks good. The Western Kentucky game is coming up. When those games happen, Liberty will move. When I rank all 133 teams, there are a handful of teams that don't really play anybody notable for a good chunk of time. And so they kind of don't move. Like, I have Michigan at number 7, I think, this week. They're number 2 in the AP polls. Like, Michigan fans aren't happy about that. Well, Michigan hasn't beaten anybody. And so Liberty was kind of the same thing. It's just a matter of the schedule. It will work itself out once bigger games happen. Fans always get upset about that. Totally get it. The JMU part of it was not meant to be a dig at Liberty, because I would probably say Liberty is probably the number 2 team in the state of Virginia. Like, both of them are clearly better than Virginia and Virginia Tech at this point. I just thought JMU being, 13-3 since it became an FBS program, should have won the Sun Belt East last year, beating Virginia this year. They've done a really good job, and Liberty has done a really good job too. It was not meant to be a slight. It was more a statement about Virginia and Virginia Tech and what JMU has done. But I understand. I heard from many Liberty fans who are upset about that, and I understand it.
Well, we have a very passionate fan base, so on behalf of Flames Nation, I apologize for that passion coming out on Twitter. Anyways, so let's get to some serious stuff. You know, when you look at the preseason rankings, Jacksonville State was ranked 7th in this conference. I know it's a little skewed because we're so early, but sitting at 2-0 and 4-1, what impresses you most about this Gamecocks team?
It's really both sides of the ball. This is a team that won, I think, 9 games last year and brought most of its team back. And I was kind of curious. You're always curious how those FCS teams will transition up. And Jacksonville State, from the very beginning, has played very good football this year. And they came back to beat Sam Houston last week in a game that, they were probably set to lose, but showed something and coming back to win. And they are now getting themselves in contention for potential bowl game. They're in the same situation as James Madison, which is, as a second-year transitioning FCS team, you're only eligible for a bowl game if there aren't enough 6-6 teams. And Jacksonville State was not a team I really considered to be contending for that this year. They've been better than I've expected this year. Sam Houston maybe not as good as I expected this year.
Yeah, when you look at Sam Houston's strength of schedule, that might play in. When you saw them against Jacksonville State, do you think that that's a better representation of Sam Houston and this team that Liberty's facing here tonight?
I think so. I mean, they opened the season with BYU and Air Force in Houston, which are Power 5 teams, very good teams. Sam Houston very much struggled to even score a touchdown in those first handful of games. But the Jacksonville State game, they got the offense going. They obviously went to overtime, nearly won in regulation. The defense has slipped, though, the last couple of weeks. So it's kind of been a reverse, where the first couple of weeks, the Sam Houston defense was slowing down very good teams, but the offense couldn't do anything. Now, last week, the offense was able to move the ball, but the defense has kind of taken a step back. So they've kind of ebbed and flowed as the year has gone on, still looking for their first win as an FBS program.
Right. Can't believe that we're already at week 6, but still a lot of football to go. Earlier in the season, you said Western Kentucky is going to take the conference crown. Do you still stand by that vote?
Well, it always felt like it was going to come down to Liberty or Western Kentucky, and it still feels like that's going to be the case. I think these two teams, especially offensively, have proven to be a step above everybody else in the league, and it'll still come down to that. I think Western Kentucky battled Troy very closely recently, nearly won that game. I would lean Western Kentucky right now, but it's very, very close between Western Kentucky and Liberty.
All right. Well, Chris, thanks so much for joining us. I'm sorry again about Flames Nation, but I want to personally invite you. Here at Williams Stadium, we call it Midweek on the Mountain. So if you want to come out for a game October 17th against Middle Tennessee, I'll make sure our guy, Rhett McGibbon, he'll be your security, walking around the stadium. We'll get you a flannel. We have nice fall leaves going, you know, changing colors. So I don't know if you're a big fall guy, but come to the mountain.
I appreciate the invitation. I'll look into it.
All right, we'll see you next time. Guys, back up to you.
And Emily, all about that fall. Yeah. Pumpkin spice latte girl right there. Pat, I'm looking at you while he's talking about, Liberty in the top 10 of his group of 5. You either have indigestion or you didn't like what he had to say.
Who cares? I mean, big deal. When I was playing, I can't speak for each of you, but I think I know the answer. We weren't prepping for a game and then going, where did we get ranked by this guy? We are not in the rank. What the heck? I am outraged because you're watching film, you're prepping for the games. Players don't care. It's the fans that, rightfully so, get worked up a little bit about it, but as a player, you don't care about that.
I mean, he's a hard guy to dislike just because he's got great hair. I mean, you look at him on there. Guy's got great hair, and his answer there was good for the fans. But it's the Liberty folks have a tendency to get a little bit riled up. If you just give them a little bit of nugget, you just got to throw it at them, and they go all over it, which is great, by the way.
There was no Twitter when I played, so we'll leave it at that.
I was going to say, no X. Come on.
No X. Whatever that thing's called at this point, right?
All right, let's take a look at our Segra Impact players. The pride of Leaky, Texas. No, it's not Diego Pavia. It's Trapper Panel.
I see what you did there. Trapper Panel he's the guy that finishes their drives in the red zone. They like to get him involved in the quarterback run game when they get down in the red zone so they can basically play 11 on 11. He's been key for them in a lot of situations this year, but he needs more opportunities to do this if this team's going to have success.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy. He's basically kind of their red zone guy. He's averaging 1.3 per carry, but he's got 3 touchdowns. The only guy with a rushing touchdown on the season. So I agree with your take. Get him the ball more. Get him in some space. Let him do the thing. Let him do his thing.
Pat, when we look defensively for this group, Trevor Williams, linebacker that can play sideline to sideline.
Yeah, I like to watch this guy. Got good speed. He'll stick his nose in there. Sometimes, that's a detriment to his game, but he's definitely a guy that he can move sideline to sideline. He's got some speed.
Yeah, that's the one thing that Liberty does offensively is they find out who is your best player, then they isolate that player and they put that player in conflict. He's a really, really good player, but like Pat said, he has a tendency to be overly aggressive and not show the patience at the linebacker position where he gets caught up in the line of scrimmage, which allows the back to pop out of the back end.
All right, this might be Joe's favorite guy with the nickname, take a ride in my Bentley Hanshaw. But Reg, you like this guy too.
I love Bentley Hanshaw, and the main reason why, obviously catching the football, look at those hands right there. But I think he's so key to this football team in the running game. He's able to get up on the edge and help these guys turn the corner in this running game. Not only is he a good pass catcher, but just as important to this offense as a blocker.
Yeah, I just talked to Cody Ledeco, the tight end coach, down on the field, and he said, the thing that Henshaw does good is exactly that. When you're willing to block in the run game, it sets you up for touchdowns in the red zone.
How big is it for LU to have Kendi Charles back?
I think it's impossible to state how important it is. This is a guy, he is a run stuffer. He requires a lot of attention from the centers and guards. It's going to open other guys up as well.
Yeah, Kendi Charles, I like to call him the mystery machine because it's loaded with Scooby snacks in there. And he takes those little Scooby snacks are like offensive linemen. He just pops them in their mouth, eats them up, and goes on his way.
It's hard to find dancing bears in college football. He's a dancing bear. Big fella, and I mean that in a nice way. He's one of those big guys that can move his feet and make a lot of plays. Anytime you got that, you got a key guy.
Hey, every sack is a sack to give back this season. Food Lion Feeds will donate 1,000 meals to a neighbor in need for each Liberty sack this season. The Flames 10 sacks on the year for 62 yards lost, and I could get on some of that food action.
Get that Blackstone going. Fire up that Blackstone.
I like it. Woo. Yeah, a little shrimp maybe in there too. Woo. Joe Yockey be in on that.
Oh my.
Delightful. All right, time for our keys to the game. Sam Houston, we're going to look at first. Reggie, we're going to pass it over to you.
Yeah, when you think about this game for Sam Houston, the first thing they got to do is they've got to handle the pressure up front with this offensive line. You've got to keep your quarterback clean. If Shoemaker is running for his life the entire time, pressure in his face, getting hit in the mouth, they're going to struggle with this offense. So that's going to be the first step. You have to keep the quarterback clean. When he's dealing with pressure in his face, pressure bust pipes. It speeds guys up. They get receivers drilled over the middle. They don't push the ball down the field. You have to check it down, and that's been an issue for them in this offense. And then the next thing they've got to do on the defensive side of the ball for Sam Houston, one of the things they better do is they better get aligned and they better understand their assignments, because Caden Salter and this offense in the running game with the option, they will make you make mistakes. If your eyes get dirty, they have to play with clean eyes. If your eyes get dirty, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And then last but not least, if you're Sam Houston, you better find 2 extra possessions. If you can't find a way in the turnover game to get a couple of extra possessions against this Liberty team, because remember, Liberty's +7 in turnover margin, Sam Houston -2. You've got to be able to flip that if you're Sam Houston in this game.
Let's take a look at the Flames, Pat.
Yeah, I think what's important, first thing I'll say is you can't have a bye week hangover. You have to have a fast start. This is a team going into the bye, their last 2 games, averaging almost 50 points a game. Defense gave up 211 yards against FIU. You want to continue to build on that, not have that lull. I think that's really important coming out tonight. Number 2, in terms of the keys to the game, you got to keep pounding. Keep pounding the rock. This is a team 2nd in the nation in rushing yards. I think they can definitely exploit up the middle, which is going to open up opportunities on the perimeter. This is a really fun offense to watch. The option, giving the dive inside, I think it's going to be critically important. Establish the run, keep that offense on the field to lean on that defense, wear them out. That Liberty's most successful when they dominate time of possession. So the big thing, key number 2, keep pounding the rock. And I think that's going to be critical for them today. And then the third and final key to the game that I would say for today is be alert for trick plays. Yeah. This is an offense that is struggling a little bit. They've got some injuries. They struggle to generate yards. They're going to look for any type of a spark that they can get. So definitely be alert on the defensive in the back half. That secondary that we talked a lot about, be prepared for trick plays. I think those are definitely going to be some important pieces today.
You can hear behind us, it's about time to go. Let's get our game picks in really quick. Reggie, you have the Flames winning 45-10 today.
Yeah, sorry, Flames Nation. Don't be mad at me. I know it's my first time here, but I do have y'all winning 45-10. It might be a sleep fest.
I don't know about a sleep fest, but I also think that it's going to be a pretty wide margin. I've got Liberty going 34-10. I think the offense is explosive. I think there's going to be some tendencies that they can take advantage of in that Sam Houston defense.
Yeah, I think Sam Houston's going to hang around for a little bit longer than what we think, but at the end, the Flames pull away, take this one 35-20.
Hold on, Joe. Hold on.
Yeah, get on. Talk to me, Ray.
On the podcast, you said 24-21. The Flames Central podcast, which we are affiliated with, powered by Alcova Mortgage.
Thank you. Yeah, I did, but then I watched a little bit of film.
Okay.
And things have changed.
So you're unprepared.
Things have changed. People change. There's a song about that. Well, hey, we do the podcast on Monday. Good night.
Yeah. Well, great stuff. It's going to be a great night of football. Make sure you tune in after the game right here. About 10 or 15 minutes post-game. We'll be here to break things down and chat about it. As always, this game airing on CBS Sports Network at the top of the hour. Have a fun watch, and we'll see you back here after the game.